every single set from Squid Game in real life. And whichever one of these 456 people survives the longest wins 456 grand.
The video is popular. It's a reductive ripoff of the original, not a triumph for the quote creator economy. With Gita Jackson writing that it's bizarre to watch Mr. Beast and former YouTube executives celebrate its popularity as a huge success for so-called quote creators, saying that this video doesn't just badly misunderstand the anti-capitalist message of Squid Game, it's a literal recreation of the villain's ultimate desire to watch desperate people compete for money purely for his amusement. And adding more than just bizarre, Mr. Beast's Squid Game highlights a fundamental problem of YouTube. There is no shortage of people who make original art and put it online, but the internet is dominated instead by people who can take advantage of existing properties and fan bases. This is a particular problem on YouTube, where people film themselves literally reacting to things or laughing at other people's memes and making a lot of money off of it. This video is no different from those.
Hot take, but I feel once you've reached this level of wealth, maybe you should be using said wealth to benefit the impoverished and not use it to recreate a show that is a direct critique of the exact thing being done here, but hey, that's just me. This is in reference to Mr. Beast and his upcoming Squid Game video. This is not a hot take, this is a dumb take. What's interesting is, the Squid Game money and all that's generated for Netflix will never go to helping people, but Mr. Beast making this Squid Game video and the money that will make will directly go to food banks that Mr. Beast owns and helps people with. So they chose someone who is literally going to be helping people with the money the Squid Game makes, instead of the Squid Game itself, which was 10 times what Mr. Beast spent and will never help anyone in the community. One of the only wealthy people in general who are constantly helping the community and people around him. Again, focus on the stuff he does off camera real quick, because a lot of people critique Mr. Beast saying he's only doing this for attention and views. They can't wrap their head around the idea that maybe he actually just likes to help people, so they just try and attack this made up idea of who he is. He's only doing it for views and attention, because he is exactly the kind of wealthy person people have been begging for, and he's still getting shit for it. Everyone wants a wealthy person who's extremely generous to the community and doing things to help the community, and we have that with Mr. Beast, and he is still getting shit for it. Blows my mind. Where the money from that Squid Game video will most likely directly go into his philanthropy, which will in turn help a lot of people, and still getting shit for it.
How many people have you heard, if you've criticized Mr. Beast, say the exact same shit as critical here back to you? Basically making Mr. Beast's whole existence seeming like it's just designed to be a self-sustaining charity. Like, Mr. Beast only does it because he's such a good guy. He only makes videos to do charity work. This is just so fucking insane, and that's why I'm so happy recently with some of the new testimony from people who'd worked for him. He does live a very lavish lifestyle. He's always characterized himself as someone who's very humble, basically like a monk on a mountaintop, and now it's come out, yeah, he has like really expensive house, has like a massive team of assistants, personal trainer, personal chefs on demand all the time, and enjoying all the wealth he's accumulated, right? So this just looks so stupid in hindsight, and combined with the other stuff, yeah, it's also based on worker exploitation. He treats his workers like garbage, and he treats contestants like fucking shit as well. It's not surprising to anyone. Doing charity work does not make people fucking immune to criticism at all, and it doesn't whitewash the other shit you do. Like, all the shit Mr. Beast has done now, is that somehow mitigated by him doing charity work on a charity channel? And also, as we know, with Millionaire Charity in the US, you can get massive tax write-offs, right?
I have personally worked in entertainment and on sets for almost 2 decades, and what is going on here is beyond disgusting and extremely dangerous. I wanted to read you one of the messages with the permission of one of the contestants to give you an idea of why I'm so upset and why I simply just can't let this go. It's absolutely not okay. I was a contestant until the end. I also didn't accept their hush money. It was really bad. People were having seizures because they were not getting medication, even though we were promised we would. And it was 100% rigged. They presented it as though the game would be like Squid Games, basically a type of game show where all the games are an even playing field. That was not at all the case. All the games were about speed and strength, so only the young athletic males were at an advantage over the women, and elderly people were also casted. To make things worse, men started realizing that they could take out the women without being eliminated. Guys started tackling and hitting women. 2 girls were tackled and passed out on the field and were dragged off to continue filming. I saw people with broken bones, stitches, etc. and most were women.
It is my opinion that the Mr. Beast team is engaging in a deliberate cover-up, rather than respond on merit or substance to virtually any of the business allegations regarding predatory practices, child exploitation, illegal lotteries, or rigging competitions. These are my opinions based on evidence and behavior I'm witnessing. However, when you go through and see all of it as one cohesive picture, it gets pretty damning. I'll start with background. Mr. Beast, the world's largest YouTuber, has been facing criticism and scrutiny over what seem to be three developing situations. First, a former employee named Chris Tyson was engaging in wildly inappropriate behavior on a Discord server with minors present, which led to a massive trove of messages being leaked online, which are extremely damaging to the credibility and reputation of the entire company. Second, a former employee, going by the screen name Dogpack404, released a nearly hour-long video about illegal lotteries, underage gambling, and the rigging of competitions, which got about 8 million views and counting so far. And third, on the set of Beast Games, which is a $100 million game show production funded by Amazon, allegations came forward about contestants getting injured, unsafe conditions, lost medication, missing personal belongings, and much more. In essence, inappropriate, possibly criminal behavior by one of his employees towards minors. Predatory, possibly criminal behavior by Mr. Beast himself with regards to merchandise promotions, as well as overall business atmosphere. And lastly, safety, or lack thereof. Further speaking to the problems building behind the scenes, if you look at Glassdoor, which is employees reviewing their employers, we see things like this, quote, "They break OSHA violations like no other. Jumping from barges with equipment, I'm impressed no one has died yet, but there's been injuries," end quote. Or this, quote again, "OSHA and Department of Labor violations rampant. Promotion of unhealthy work-life balance. Cult-like atmosphere promoting complete company loyalty," end quote. Once again establishing that where once the issue was merely a rogue former employee interacting with minors, now the issue appears to be rampant workplace malpractice. Next, however, is a keystone issue that seems to be ramping up even more, and that is the Amazon Prime-sanctioned Beast Games reality show that is being filmed right now in Las Vegas, soon to be switching over to Canada. Remember that part. For the past couple of weeks, various outlets, including Vital Vegas, whom I believe was the first outlet to report on this, have been exposing the terrible conditions of that show. But on social media, a woman named Rosanna Pansino has been leading the charge, talking about injuries, contestants being offered money to sign away their litigation rights afterwards, and other horrifying revelations in general. However, she's not alone, and these are not just random anonymous messages anymore, because the New York Times has now come out with their own piece, which not only corroborates her accusations and prior media pieces from Las Vegas, but also expands on them. It contains details about how some contestants were carried out on stretchers, some were vomiting, passing out, there were broken bones, seizures, or they were getting evacuated to the hospital. Contestants weren't being fed properly, and yet the camera crew was going around to contestants and giving them Feastables chocolate bars and filming them praising the candy. Think about that. They were basically starving contestants, whether deliberate or negligent, and then giving them Mr. Beast's chocolate bars, filming them eating and praising the candy. What kind of sick fuck is this guy? They were serving food to people that were allergic to that food, and after many contestants were eliminated in brutally violent ways, they were given $1,000 to compensate. Except, no, they weren't. Because when the cameras turned off, they had to give it back. And they were told that the real payment would arrive later. Some of them have yet to receive that payment. It's hard for me to articulate just how disgusting and predatory this company seems. Lastly, way down at the bottom, quote, "We are grateful that virtually all of those invited to Toronto for our next production have enthusiastically accepted our invitation," from a Mr. Beast spokesperson, after they meekly tried to deny most of these issues and preserve the Amazon $100 million cash pipeline to produce this disgusting game show. All of this very obviously corroborates prior allegations and paints a picture of extreme and abhorrent conditions.
So if you haven't already, subscribe and you can win 10 grand.